And I remember we were all kind of dumbfounded when they talked about how condensed the slums were. Because I think that's a word we can throw around, just as like, oh, that's a slum, that's an area I don't want to go. But the Mathari Valley was, I think they said 3 square miles or less than 3 square miles, 800,000 people. And that's the most conservative guess. It could be way more. So I looked it up, did some quick math. That'd be like 1.4 million people in Greencastle.
Wow.
So I think that puts it into perspective.
Yeah.
And that was something when I got back too. I called it a dump, and I think somebody just thought I was meaning, oh yeah, that was a trashy place. Like, no. These people live around a landfill, and they try to make their living that way.
So one thing I wrote, not sure if I processed everything that I saw today. Yes, we have poverty in the U.S., but not extreme poverty. And maybe not even poverty in the U.S. Stories about single moms trying to feed their kids. Monday, they have no work, no food. Tuesday, no work, no food. Wednesday, no work, no food. Thursday comes and their children's bellies are actually hurting. So she has no choice but to sell herself. There are many families in the U.S. that live paycheck to paycheck, but living paycheck to paycheck for many families here is a dream. In Kenya, they kind of had that community bathroom, right? They all sort of chipped in. They had to pay to use.
Oh.
And same with water. I don't know where they could go get water.
Right.
But in Korah, in Ethiopia, there wasn't that.
Yeah.
They used the restroom in the street and the ditch on the side of the road. There were several times where it's like you look away because you.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean, even where we met to like group up before we left in Korah, where they gave us the injera and the rose. There was that restroom there. Did you guys use the restroom there?
I did.
It just goes right in the ditch outside. It's painful talking about it, honestly.
One things arrangements that as Western society we put aside 2 years ago.
Yeah.
You don't really think of the sewer being a luxury.
Right.
I remember the disease situation. I know that HIV is rampant in those communities, but the one you can see even more is leprosy. And just be horrified to kind of come to understand what that really means. That basically these people lose feeling and then their extremities are damaged, and they don't know it because they don't feel. I mean, the most horrifying thing was, somebody might be missing a finger because a rat chewed it off in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
The fact that there's even leprosy, and I could be wrong, but it's a very treatable disease.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and we lay hands on someone that has leprosy. You know what I mean? It's like,
yeah.
Oh yeah, Joy Hamilton, who was on the trip with us, I think she was the one explaining. There's a hospital there in Addis Ababa that was built specifically for treating leprosy, and that a new slum has sprung up in that neighborhood while these people wait to get enough money. And I don't remember.
I want to say that
it was like less than $10.
I thought it was $2.
It might be.
It was very cheap.
Yeah. I mean, so these people are trying to gather up $2 or $3 so they can go, and it will change their life. And they cannot get that money, and clearly nobody else is, or not enough people are helping them to that point.
One thing that sticks out is if you remember the kids, like I said, the kids are running around everywhere, barefoot, dirty. Remember they all had runny noses? Remember what they said about that? That was a sign of the HIV virus. And every one of them was dealing with that.
Well, and I think one thing that struck me, I know it was the case in Kenya, I would imagine it's that way in Ethiopia too, was finding out these people weren't just squatting on this unwanted land. They were paying rent.
Yeah, that would be a way.
Yeah.
These 8x8 shanty is dirt floor, tin walls, or carpet wall, whatever.
Right. But to find out that there actually are actual slumlords that own that and charge them to live in those places. Just,
Yeah.
I guess there's really no limit to human greed sometimes, but it just blew me away. I think people live in Korah and other places like it because they're out of other choices. Like one of the things we were told, and this really more applied to Nairobi, but I'm confident it's the same in Addis Ababa, is people who are poor in the country went to the city because it's, the land of opportunity. But there aren't nearly as many opportunities as there are people. So then you end up somewhere like Mathari or Korah. And the reason that people are in Korah in particular is that it's out at the dump. Nobody else wants it. So I guess we can, we don't want to have to see or think about these people. It's fine to let them be out there. And then they're also there because they're trying to earn a living. And as awful as it sounds, they're digging through that trash to try and make a living. I remember looking up on the side of the mound, and there were men just grabbing these kind of flattened pieces of plastic, shoving them in burlap sacks, stuffing them as full as they could. And we asked somebody, what can they hope for? And he said, well, you get that in there really good. You fill one of those sacks a day, and you maybe make 75 cents on that.
The other thing is they grow up in the slum. That's all they know. In Nairobi, what was there, like 5 million people, and 3 million were in the slums?
Something like that, yeah.
So if it's all you know, where are you gonna go? You don't have anyone outside. You don't have any connections. You don't have any money. You don't have any means. No transportation. They feel stuck.
Sure.
It's easy to say, yeah, go walk, leave.
Mm-hmm.
Go where? I don't even know what the outside world is. I've never been out of here.
And how am I going to pay for it?
Yeah. I don't know what the city looks like. I don't know what a nice area looks like. I don't know what...
I remember asking when we were there that inflation, what we're all dealing with, it hit them too. That even in communities like that, they're dealing with the same effects that we are, just on a different level.
Mm-hmm.
So the cost of things have continued to rise, and yet, if it stretches our pocketbooks, imagine somebody that's, making less than $2 a day, how it further entraps them.
I remember a country song when I was growing up that said, we were so poor we couldn't tell. And what Barrett just said, and that's kind of a funny line in that song, but, what Barrett just said, it's, so true with these folks and, not funny at all.
I mean, think about, you've talked to someone that's never been out of Putnam County.
Yeah.
It happens.
Sure.
They've just never been out. No reason to, don't want to. It's the same thing for them.
Right.
They've never been out of the area. If you've never been out of Putnam County, you don't know what a skyscraper looks like in person.
Right.
Mm.
I think something else I noticed, maybe thought more about, had a better perspective on while I was there, is in the slums, there are things that happen that we think of as criminal behavior. Prostitution, selling drugs, getting involved in, various kinds of violence. And I think something that really came to realize is it's people aren't choosing that life because they're inherently bad people. They're choosing that life because they don't see another way out.
Desperation.
Yes,
Survival.
absolutely. So,
I mean, you see that, I'm just looking at my list of families here, and most of these stories are kids who were born because the mom had a one-night stand or whatever it was, just to pay the bills.
right.
And now, now you have a family of 8, a single mom,
Right.
who's literally trapped in that. And so she might be able to pay her, she might be able to have school for her oldest, but then what does that look like for her other 5, 6, 7 kids? And so then she's forced back into selling the only thing she has. Yeah, I remember feeling about the dads, where were the dads at? And many of them said that the dads would just leave because they were so, and they would self-medicate or they'd join a gang because they didn't want to deal with the guilt or the shame, maybe shame's a better word, of not being able to provide for their family, so they go and drink their
Right, culturally, it was very
honor shame.
yeah. You felt like a piece of trash if you couldn't take care of your family, so the dads would run off and do drugs or alcohol or who knows. But they'd either be gone forever or they'd show up. Sometimes they would say 6 months later for a week or two,
Right.
and be gone.
Do you remember them talking about they would make their own moonshine?
No.
Their own alcohol, and it was so potent, it was like drinking poison. Like it would send more people, it would either kill them or maim them than anything else. And that's what they were drinking. I remember the first time it kind of hit, like you go in, our first experience was the school, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what I had in my mind, but I didn't really understand it, that these kids, they go to school and then they just go back home. And they're still living in the little shanties.
Yeah.
Right. It's not like the boarding school where they're getting this all the time.
Yeah.
Right.
And so, and yet, I mean, I still hear their voices singing and smiles and everything. They were really excited to see us. And yet, they go home every night. The song.
In many ways, our culture, sometimes school is something that you don't want to go to.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But for them, it was like an oasis.
Mm-hmm.